Hi, and welcome to Prepping Essentials. Good morning, it's 7:15 on Saturday the 13th of February. Just making my way down to the land. And as always, never quite sure what we're going to get done today, but let's find out. Well, here we are down on the land, and as you can see we've still got snow, fairly deep snow to be fair. You can also see how many rabbits I get on the field. Very cold again this morning. It's been cold all week. Be interesting to see what the temperature is inside the cabin and the garden room. If you can believe the forecast, they're telling us that it should be milder next week, but probably wet. So I think on past performance, I'll just bide my time and see what happens, because the forecasts, they don't really tell you very much. Anyway, I'm going to get myself into the cabin, get it opened up, definitely be getting a fire on and the kettle on. Not quite sure what we'll be getting done today, but we'll keep you posted as we go through the morning. Just thought I'd quickly show you the temperatures as I open up. That's between -2 and -3, more towards -2. That's on the outside of the cabin. Oh, it does feel a bit warmer in here. Whether that's psychological or not, I don't know, but where are we? You can't actually see. It is below freezing, but it's only just hovering. Let's see if I can put a... That's better. -1, or just slightly under -1. Hard to say. What we got inside the cabin. Let's have a quick look. It feels colder in here. It isn't though. It's, what's that? 1, 2, 3 degrees plus. That surprises me because it doesn't feel it. But maybe that's just me. Where are we on the solar? I've been worried about that all week really. 12.8, so we're all right. With having all the snow, I did come down on Tuesday to clean it off the panels, but I have been worried that it wouldn't keep clear, and I'd be ending up with no recharge on the batteries. But it has, so it seems. Well, there you are. You can see out there it is a cold day, and it's not set to warm up really today, but hopefully, if we believe the forecast, we'll get a little bit better weather next week. Well, certainly in temperatures anyway. So I'm going to get myself opened up, get in there, get the coffee on, get the fire on, and I'll see you all shortly. Well, it's certainly cool out here. You can see that the rabbits have been having fun while I've not been here. Just been busy scraping the snow off the solar panels. That's the one that feeds the battery box for the heater, the diesel heater. It is cool today. Thankfully not too much snow on the roof of the garden room. I did scrape a bit of that off on Tuesday, as I did the front, but we've clearly had a little bit more. We've not had that much snow in all fairness. It's come for a couple of days and then just frozen, and then had a little bit more and then frozen, which it is today. No sign at all of snow in the sky, and according to the forecast, after the weekend it'll go and be replaced by warmer and wetter weather. Anyway, I've got the fire going, kettle should be boiled by now, so I'll get myself inside and get warmed up. Oh well, good morning on what is a chilly morning, it has to be said. At least I've got the fire going, got a cup of coffee, so it's not too bad. I can sit and just look out across the fields and the trees and admire the view. It's a cold day, but it's a pretty day. All the snow on the trees and the lights just starting to come up. It is nice sometimes just to sit and reflect rather than be working yourself to death. I don't think there's much chance of that this weekend, not down here anyway. I had a quick look at the weather on an app on the phone, and right now it's saying -2, which outside it is. You'll have seen that on the video clip I took earlier of the temperatures. But it also says, because of the wind we've got, we've had this northeasterly wind pretty much all week, which is what's been bringing in the real cold air. And according to the app, with the wind, it says it feels like -9. And having been outside a little bit this morning, it certainly does feel like -9. Weather's been the focus of attention over the last few weeks now. You might remember I popped a couple of pictures on the community tab on YouTube, and I think also on Facebook. We had quite a lot of rain last weekend, and as I left to go home, it opened up again and we had a lot more rain. And the side of the cabin just literally behind me here actually started to flood. And I was quite nervous for a couple of days to see what was going to happen with that. That's the first time I've had so much water standing on the field at the side of the cabin. But thankfully the next day it dried out, and then we had the snow. So it kind of went from bad to worse. I was down here on Tuesday clearing away snow off the roof with this plastic sheeting that I've got. As soon as you get snow lying on that, that's quite a considerable extra weight. So I was clearing it off on Tuesday after I finished work, and similarly clearing the panels to try and make sure I kept getting solar into the batteries. And that worked quite well. It is still there this morning, because clearly we've had a bit more snow. But all has been well. There's a few things I wanted to kind of chat about, apart from the weather. I mean, it was seriously cold during the week. We had the coldest temperatures up in Scotland. It was -23. There was even something floating around saying it had hit -30. But nonetheless, -23 is cold enough. And that was certainly the coldest that the UK has had in 25 years. So significant in terms of weather. And that brings with it its own problems. And I might touch on that later as a bit of a lessons learned. We'll see how we get on. Other things that's going on right now, COVID. We're still in lockdown. Vaccination program's still rolling away. 14.5 million, I think we're up to now, vaccinations. And lots of talk now about having to have some kind of evidence of having had your COVID jab for things like international travel. There's now a quarantine on people coming in from, I can't remember how many countries it is now. People have got to self-isolate in a hotel at the airport for 10 days at their expense, which is actually quite a lot of money. It's about £2,000, £2,000, give or take. So lots going on with COVID. What do I think about COVID? I think come April, it'll be gone for whatever reason, whether that's everyone's been vaccinated or enough people have been vaccinated. And I think then the economy will take over. We had a massive hit in 2020. The figures recently came out for the complete year, and there was an actual slump in GDP of 9.9%. You may as well say 10. Now there was some stats. I did write it down somewhere as to what that was. Yeah, that was the biggest drop in the economy since 1709. That's massive, massive. And it's actually double the drop that we had when we had that big housing crash, 2008, 2009, and the global markets all collapsed. So that's twice as big a drop in 2020 as we had in that big financial crash, which should set some alarm bells ringing for everybody as to how this year and probably the next few years are going to pan out. I have mentioned it in a previous video about austerity coming back. I don't think anybody can deny that now. We're certainly going to see a big hike in taxes and a cut in services as the government tries to claw back the hundreds of billions of pounds that it spent in 2020 dealing with COVID and the impact on the economy of COVID. Other things, sorry for looking down here, I've got some little notes scribbled away there. One other interesting thing, and I did pop something on the community tab and on Facebook about this at the time. Over in America, there was a cyber attack on the water system there. Someone hacked in and started increasing the amount of chemicals in the water. Still very, very quiet as to who that might have been, whether it was just some random guy playing about in his basement on his laptop, or whether it was more sinister than that. But it is a reminder to everyone about how fragile the grid that we're dependent on is. It doesn't have to be some big, massive global event like World War III or, I don't know, an EMP from a solar flare. It doesn't have to be something huge to actually knock out parts of the grid or indeed the grid itself. Being able to tap into the computer network for any of the mains utilities, water, gas, electric, or the financial system, or the supply chain system, any of those kind of interferences can have a massive knock-on effect, which could lead to a complete grid down. So it is certainly worth thinking about. And that kind of does bring me round to what I was saying earlier about weather and lessons learned. There have been quite a few lessons learned over this winter period for me. Whether that's looking at these events and thinking about the impact on supply chain and utilities, or whether that's here at the cabin. I've mentioned a few times about freezing cold temperatures. So although during the year I have managed to build the cabin and the garden room and have pretty much everything in place to be survivable off-grid, the water, the toilet, the electric, it has been noticeable, the effect this winter on how fragile my off-grid support systems are. So there will be an awful lot of work done this year as the weather improves and I can get back to working outside on the more construction type projects. I do need to look at ways going forward to stop things like the water freezing or the solar panels getting covered in snow and not being able to generate electric. wood supplies for this wood burning stove. I've mentioned a few times in different videos how surprising it is the amount of wood you need to be able to continue to keep feeding that fire through the winter months. I'm sure that for those of you who are already living off-grid, I know that there are a couple of UK subscribers who are fortunate enough to live permanently in their version of this, the cabin in the field. And undoubtedly there are probably hundreds of people in the US who are similarly in that fortunate position. Right now I'm not. I'm still having to go to work every day and live in a normal a normal house. I'm not living here at the cabin. You'll know that long-term aspirations are to do that, to actually get off-grid permanently and get rid of the existing house, but I'm not at that point yet. I just don't have that financial stability, or indeed the legal loopholes that you have to jump through to be able to do that. So that kind of makes me think what I can be doing this year to try and rectify that and manage to have the cabin be self-sustaining even when I'm not here. So things like automatic heating is something I need to look at. If I'm not here, I can't physically light a fire in the wood burning stove. So getting the capacity in to have the diesel heater come on and off on some kind of timer. I have the heater, I have the diesel to do that. What I don't have right now is sufficient 12-volt power to be able to sustain that for extended periods while I'm not here. If I were to try and do that now, and I went away and today, say, and left the heater on time, with it coming on off during the night to keep the freezing temperatures away, I'm guessing I could probably last 2 days, 3 days perhaps, before the solar gave up. There just isn't the amount of sunshine required for the size of the solar setup I've got right now to keep those batteries maintained for more than 2 or 3 days. And similarly, I've seen with the snowfall and the snow covering the solar panels, again, if I'm not here to physically clean those off, within 2 or 3 days, there's no more power being put into the batteries, and the draw of power off the batteries for things like the Wi-Fi, the cameras, the diesel heater will be gone in 2 or 3 days. So it has, as everything has been quite a learning curve over this winter period, particularly since we've had these really cold, unusually cold spells of weather. But as always, it gives me something to think about and something to be able to plan for little jobs later this year. Anyway, talking about jobs, there are a couple of things I want to do today down here. I'll take a look at the plants, but I've already seen in the garden room there doesn't seem to be much going on with those. Unsurprising, I guess, given the temperatures. I just want to go through my wood and my other building supplies with a view to thinking about chicken coop construction. I know I do definitely need some foundation blocks, probably some gravel as well, and perhaps a little bit more wood for the framing and sheeting the roof. So I'm going to busy myself looking at that, making a list, and then I'll take the opportunity this weekend to go out and grab some more supplies before it's back to work again on Monday morning. One final point, it's kind of connected to comments on the channel over the last week or so. Your views, I guess, on what it is that you would like me to talk about or do videos on in the channel. I am conscious this last few weeks, maybe this last month actually, that there's not been as much physical construction type activity at the cabin. It's been more of a chat and a couple of small clips of kind of mundane run-of-the-mill jobs, and a couple of people have commented on that. So what is it that you would like to see over these coming weeks and months in terms of channel output? Are you quite content for things like the cabin chat and the odd small video clip of the more minor tasks while I wait for better weather to get back to the big jobs? Or do you want to see more food videos, whether that's regular cooking or, more importantly, I guess, cooking with items that you'll have in your long-term food storage? Do you want to see more talks about the economy or the pandemic or potential other risks? What is it that you would like to see? I might actually put a little poll up on the channel if I can figure out how to do that. But in the meantime, let me know in the comments section. If you are not really interested in the cabin chats, then over the next few weeks, maybe I can take a break from doing these cabin chats whilst there's not much else going on down here. Let me know in the comments section, and if I do manage to get a poll out, then put your little vote in the poll as to what it is that you would want to see. Anyway, I'm going to get myself this cup of coffee down me because it's going cold. I will definitely this weekend be doing a couple of food related videos. If I've got time this afternoon in amongst the shopping and supply gathering, I'll do something this afternoon. If not, there'll definitely be, well, certainly one, perhaps two videos on food tomorrow. So a little bit for you to look forward to there, if there isn't much else in the video today. But anyway, let me get this coffee down me and I'll catch up with you later. You can see on there there's not much at all going on with these potatoes and carrots that I've put in, and similarly not a lot going on in here either. Lots of condensation in the trays but not much else. I don't think that's a surprise for anybody. Temperature on there is, what's that, 3-4 degrees. So I think we'll be a few weeks yet before we see anything going in there. Hopefully this snow will start to disappear next week and we'll get some warmer temperatures, and perhaps next weekend there'll be a bit more to look at in here, but for now, not much going on. Well, the wood pile is gradually growing bigger and bigger. Lots of feather edge, 3x2 framing and some smaller 1/2 inch by 1 inch infill material. And similarly in the polytunnel, I've got these pallet collars which I'll be using as well, both outside and also in here in the polytunnel when this plastic sheeting eventually comes off. It's quite frustrating. Everything is raring to go, whether it's buckets of compost or whether it's the compost itself or whether it's my little plants that I've overwintered in the polytunnel. It is a little bit frustrating that I can't get cracking with stuff, but that's partly the weather and partly because I'm not here permanently. It'll soon be spring. Well, that's it for today down at the cabin. I've left the wood burning stove going just to keep a bit of heat through the cabin while I'm away. Itching to see the back of this snow because it is literally everywhere, including on the roof still, but hopefully that's going to disappear over the next few days. And for today, that's me disappearing. I will be back over the weekend. I might pop in tomorrow just to check out all is okay, but I will be doing quite a few food videos this weekend in amidst my resupply of my materials for construction. But for today, for the field, that's it. I'm going to get myself off home, then get off round the shops. So I'll catch up with you at some point later today or tomorrow with my food videos. Well, that's it for this video. I hope there was something in there that was of interest to you. If you did like the video, please do click on the like button. Also feel free to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. As always, welcome any comments, questions or suggestions you might have. How's the weather where you are? And what do you think about subjects for future videos rather than just having the little cabin chats? Let me know what you think in the comments section below. But for now, thanks for watching and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.